My name is Michael Montez. I'm the constable in Tech City, Precinct 5 currently. I'm running for the new Precinct 1. I've been with this office for going on 23 years now. The last 12 as the constable, ran unopposed. Born and raised in Tech City. A lot of times we call it Toxic City. You don't breathe the clean air, we don't. I've been born and raised, went to school there, probably died there. I have family. I'm single, but I do have 3 kids. I have 3 children that belong to my niece, who was killed 6 years ago in a car wreck. So instant dad overnight, going on 6 years now. And her sister was killed with her in the car. She was an Iraqi vet that did 2 tours over in Iraq. Only been home 6 months and just long enough to get killed in a car wreck. So been busy with that. Again, running for the new Precinct 1, which is encompassing Tech City all the way to Keno Bridge, Clear Lake Shores, a little bit of League City and a little bit of Dickinson. So we're running all the way to the bridge that way. I have my peace officer's license, my master peace officer's license, and I'm caught up with all my civil process throughout the state. I'm trying to think of what else. My public speaking is a little limited. It's usually like, hey, you're under arrest, followed by quickly like, stop running. So this is just, I'm a little nervous. First time I've never had an opponent, so excuse me if I stutter a little bit. But I love this job. I've taken it. I started January 1, 93 with Constable Alvarez. Shortly later, about 2 years after that, I was his chief deputy and been running ever since. When we took office, there was a constable prior to us that didn't make the office look good at all. We had to, get all the believers back into us and had to build up their trust so they can believe us and call us out. We get called out all the time. I get called out from the house. I've had people come up to my house and I've been mowing the yard. Hey, are you the constable? Yeah. And I'm out there with flip-flops, shorts, and a tank top talking to them about a civil matter. So I don't mind that. That's my job. Same thing in the supermarkets. So let me cut it short, and that'll be about it for right now. Thank you.
My name is DJ Alvarez. Some of y'all know me. I'm from Galveston, born and raised in Galveston, and I live in Lake City now. I'm a 27-year law enforcement veteran, fixed to hit my 28th year in April, of which 22 years I serving the citizens of Galveston with the Galveston Police Department. I retired as a commander from the Galveston Police Department in 2010. Took a couple of years off and realized that I was spending too much money being retired. So I went back to work. I have a great family. Like I said, some of you guys do know me. 3 times since 2001, I was Mr. Mom. My boss, my better half, runs the house. She's a lieutenant colonel in the Army Reserves. And when she went away, I was Mr. Mom, and I raised 3 kids, 3 beautiful kids, of which my 13-year-old is probably going to be a kick-butt Republican because he's been with Dad quite a bit campaigning. So he knows what's being conservative. He doesn't want to practice it sometimes with his allowance, but anyway. I'm all about getting the job done. I just actually hit my 5,000 hour of training for under TCOL. I'm all about learning, being innovative, trying new things, and I'm really a big proponent of community policing. The constable's offices, they all have the same job, the same duties, but rather than stop, we need to do more. And the constable's offices can do more for less. Conforming business partnerships with the businesses in the neighborhoods is what we need to do. That's how we find out what's going on in the neighborhood and the communities that we serve. Being visible. Visible deters crime. And I'm all about being visible. Visibility is also hand in hand with accountability. I want to improve the precinct that I live in, that I'm running for, because currently they have 2 reserve constable deputies where they're allowed 5. That's 3 bodies. That's 3 bodies that don't cost anything. And, physically, you're not being responsible when you're turning down volunteers that want to go out and serve the community. Again, my name is DJ Alvarez. I'll be here for a while. If you need me, let me know. And then also, you guys don't live in League City, your money spends well up there, so if you want to give me a donation, I'll be here. Thank you.
Thank you, GRW, for letting me come here tonight. I appreciate it, and I appreciate everybody sticking around. I know the rest, a lot of them left, but they're going to miss a good show. That's all I can say. This is not our fault that my opponent and I, Mr. Fullen and I, have to run against each other. We didn't ask for this, but we're going to have to deal with whatever they've given us. I have a great opponent. He's a great friend. His mom and dad and my dad, parents, they used to double date. That's how far back we all go in our families.
Wow.
Jimmy and I used to run around together on the beach. We both had a lot of hair then. But he's a great guy, but this is just something we have to deal with. I've been in law enforcement for a little over 20-something years. I'm also a Navy veteran. I'm still in the Navy serving in Ellington Field and San Diego Coronado with ACB-1 and amphibious unit. I did a tour duty in 06, 07 in Afghanistan, Qatar, and U.S. Central Command. You know, the bottom line with this job is we work for you. It's not my office, it's your office. I'm merely the key holder. We look forward to getting up every day, I look forward every day to get up in the morning, put my boots on, and when I get that hat and walk out that door, I'm ready to go to work. And I look forward to, I have one of the greatest judges to work for. He's a busy person. He keeps us busy. And there's a lot of papers that come to that office, and we do our very best to serve them. And it's something that you have to have a passion for. You have to want to do this job. It's nothing it's not for you, it's for the public. We work for you, and I enjoy doing it. And I couldn't ask for a better job like serving my country in the Navy. I love it. I wouldn't trade everything in the world. I've been very blessed and very fortunate. I'm not married, have 5 sisters. My mom and dad have been married for 66 years. I asked my dad a couple of years ago, what do you want for your next anniversary? He said, 60 more years, your mama. So my dad raised us pretty right, you know. But I'm in the middle of all those girls. And when I was growing up over in Lamar, it was kind of hard. Some of my kids' friends wouldn't come around my house. My mom and dad lived in a pink and white house, so it was kind of tough, guys. But you know, you learn to respect people, and you get out there and do your very best and put your best foot forward. That's what this job's about, is serving you. I appreciate your support.
All right, sure, y'all keep it about a minute and a half. My name is Jimmy Fullen. For those that don't know me, born and raised here in Galveston Island, one of 10 kids to Bob and Mary Fullen. I have 3 kids. And now, as of yesterday, I've got 3.5 grandkids, which I'm very tickled to death. Actually, I got my first granddaughter on her way. I've got 27 years law enforcement experience, 25 of that here in Galveston County, including 14 years with Galveston School District, 2.5 of the years of those as Chief of Police of the Galveston School District. Took office in January of 2009 as constable. Ran a successful campaign for re-election in 2012. And here I am on my 3rd one. I will tell you this, when I took office originally, or when I was running for office originally in 2007, I made a promise to the citizens of my precinct back then, and I'm making the same promise now. If re-elected, I will do the same thing I did back in 2007. I will commit myself and my office to God, to my family, to the community, and I will be out there defending your constitutional freedom as your constable. One of my promises back then was fiscal responsibility. As y'all know, or y'all may not know, the constable's office do not get budgeted a lot of money. Roughly $200,000 a year to operate my office. That includes payroll, that includes office supplies, whatever the case may be. Since taking office, and this is not my numbers, these are the numbers from the auditor's office, we have been self-sufficient each and every year that I've been in office. So it has not cost you, the taxpayers, not one dime to operate my office. My name is Jimmy Fullen. I'm running for re-election, and I appreciate your support.
What do you see as the 3 top priorities of the constable's job? Obviously, we know that you serve the court, but how does that work out for you? 3 minutes, sir.
Okay. The 3 priorities of the constable's office, or me as constable?
Yes, sir. You.
Transparency, dignity, and respect to the people that I serve. In the constable's office, as you may or may not know, we deal with a lot of bad situations. And what I mean by bad situation, you have a person who's lost their job, they can't keep up with their mortgage, they're about to lose their house, and here comes the constable or his deputy walking up to the house with a piece of paper in his hand, and he knows what's coming. So what you have to do is you have to take the time. You can't just treat every person and rubber stamp something. What you have to do is treat these folks with dignity and respect and with transparency. You go up there and tell them, look guys, you know what's coming. Is there any way we can work this out? Go out there, work with the mortgage companies. There's a lot of mortgage companies nowadays where they allow us to go out there and basically broker deals for the mortgage companies. Keys, keys for the house, just turn the house over to us. That way it doesn't really ding them that bad. But anyway, those are my 3 priorities as constable once reelected.
Thank you, sir.
As you know, the constable's responsibility primarily is to back up and support the JP court. That's our job. When the papers come through that court, we have to get out there and we have to serve them. And sometimes we don't want to do them because it is hard to serve somebody some papers when they're down on their last dollar, their last luck. And it's even harder when you're having to serve somebody for back taxes, et cetera. So you have to handle that very gingerly, very special, and treat everybody as you want to be treated. So we do treat them with respect. We answer to the judge about these papers when we get them served, and we try to get them done. Our other thing is that we love to get out in the neighborhoods when we have time and patrol through the neighborhoods, be visible, especially with these new marked cars that we have. It really makes it kind of nice because we can get out there and people can see us. So we want to continue that program. That's another priority. And we like working the school zones. We do a couple of them here in Galveston. We don't do the independent school district. We do some of the private schools. And we love doing the churches at midnight masses. We go out there and help them out. We like doing that. This is what we do. And we want to turn that image around. The constables have been dormant. They don't do a lot. We're doing it now. We appreciate it.
I share the same sentiments as Jimmy. I mean, you have to be compassionate in this job. Three of my top would be visibility. You got to be visible. Visibility, one, deters crime, but also shows accountability to the taxpayers for what you're doing. I also believe that the office should be more proficient, and that is being, with the warrants that are in the JB court, is to start serving more warrants. One, you're getting bad guys off the street, and two, you're also bringing in revenue from the fines that you collect in fines, the jail district, JP is. Other than that, just being more, practicing more conservatism, by, again, giving more to the community, giving more for less. If you have resources you can use and utilize, it doesn't cost the taxpayers, use them. Because like I say, if you get more officers out there, you're doing the job of the constable's office, and you're also getting more officers on the street to help combat crime. Thank you.
Pretty much the same here. I believe in courthouse security is a must. We've got to take care of our judges. We've got to take care of the people that are working inside there. I'm in a little bit of a different situation than these gentlemen here. We have adult probation, which deals with all kinds of felony, probationers. A lot of times when they're getting revoked, and they don't know it's coming, and all of a sudden we walk in the door and it's you're standing in between their freedom. Guess what? You better be ready. Sometimes they'll go easy, sometimes they won't. So I believe in courthouse security is a must for the judges and everybody that's inside there. Availability, being available to the public. When they come by the office, there should be somebody there that you can talk to or call on the phone and discuss a little bit with them. Maybe set an appointment to go visit with them at their house. The gift to gab is what you need, because when you go and they're getting evicted, it's bad enough. One word can make a situation just blow up. I mean, you go in there and you start getting into somebody, and it's bad enough they're already losing their house or losing their car, or you're there to see something. So you got to be able to just treat them, talk to them like you want to be talked. That's what I've always been told. Treat these people like you want to be treated. Also, visibility. Being out in the neighborhoods, being seen, talking to the folks, it don't hurt. Talk to them, and it goes a long way. Thank you.
What are the top two issues you expect to arise as a result of the combination of the constable's precincts, and how are you going to address those issues given the facts of everything from budget, staffing, and the like that's going to be in place for you?
Well, of course, it's going to be more territory, so I'll have to look at the territory. I know each area is going to be a little different. Like San Leon is going to be a little different from Tech City. Kena's going to be a little different from San Leon. So we're going to have to tailor-make the new guidelines I'm going to have to run, but basically it's going to be the same. We're going to treat these people fair and talk to them like we want, like you want to be talked to, or just see what we can do. Make cuts where you make cuts, and do what we have to do to make things work. I believe, working with Judge Cox right now, we kind of talked about a little bit, but we'll make some changes over there. But as far as that, I'm ready to take on, apply some of my techniques that I've been using in Tech City and apply them over there in the new area. With what they give me. So.
You're fine.
Don't worry, you don't have to hit the 3 minutes. You're fine there. That's okay.
This is very easy. It's not combining. This is only precinct 4 is not.
Right.
Thank you.
Forgive me, that's right. It's kind of
Taken care of right there. So, let me put it a different way. What would you have done if it combined? How about that? Give me a few minutes here.
I'll just give you less time.
You have to balance everything. You got to balance the employees, the staffing, the logistics, budgets, and then again, you have to make sure you cover all your bases and take care of the taxpayers. Make sure the job's done. efficiently, effectively, and then, like I said, improve. There's always room for improvement, so like I said, it's just being proactive and
Gotcha.
just getting the job done.
All right, thanks, DJ. Thanks for reminding.
Well, first of all, the area is going to be twice as big now, and it's going to be a challenge, but the way we're going to handle that, we're going to sit down and meet with the folks in the new area that we have, Santa Fe, Tiki Island, Palo Vista, et cetera. We want to sit down and meet with the folks in that area. We want you to tell us what we can do to make it easy for you. What do you want what do you want your constables to do? We want to work for you. We want to listen to you. So we're going to have some meetings, and we're going to meet with everybody in the neighborhoods and find out what we're going to do. But the number one thing I want to try to do is, after this is done and it's settled, I want to go to the commissioner's court and I want to sit down and tell them, look guys, you're all the ones who put us in this situation. We need your help. In order for us to effectively do our job, do what we're asked to do, we need the tools, we need the power, the manpower, and the resources. Don't treat us like stepchildren, because we're out there every day putting our lives on the line like anybody else who wears a badge and a gun. So we need you to step up to the plate, because we're certainly going to step up to the plate to do our job. So we want you to back us and give us what we need. That's all I'm going to ask them, and hopefully they'll do it.
All right, thanks.
Okay, well, fortunately for me, I've already taken the action. We took, these new precincts went into effect January 1st of this year, or 2016, or 15. And since taking that new role on, that new area up on the mainland, the way that we decided to do it, we both operate and both answer to Judge Schweitzer. I take care of the mainland side, Constable Brown takes care of Galveston. Once we took over January 1st of 2015, my office ended up with 1,486 Section 8 apartment units, not complexes, but units. We also lost a chief deputy when that happened, because as you know, when Commissioner Giusti took office, they immediately cut that position out of my budget. So I'm operating with 2 deputies with the additional space up there. And bottom line is, guys, you budget us the money, we're going to have to operate within that budget, and we do the best we can. I will tell you this, my 2 deputies go into that office, there is never a paper sitting in that box waiting to be served. They're constantly on top of the papers. There's never a backlog in my office, and we're going to continue to do that. Again, I'm also, in addition to taking over the mainland, I'm on the island almost every day. So I'm also getting to know, getting back in the rhythm of Galveston Island, which I've never really lost touch with. But we're already dealing with it. And as far as going to the commissioners, unless there's a change in the commissioner's office, I doubt very seriously they're going to give us the resources that we need to go out and do our jobs effectively. And that includes all constables.
Obviously, we've talked about the constables have to handle for the courts, the justice of the peace
Yes, sir.
courts, but you're also a fully empowered peace officer with powers to patrol, investigate, provide security services as well. And as the constable's office, the oldest law enforcement office in the state of Texas, which of these activities do you think is, as society has changed, has taken up the greatest percentage outside of obviously your paperwork you have to handle? And are you satisfied, obviously I think we heard part of your answer here, with the allocation of manpower, and how do you specifically address that manpower issue for everything that you have to do within these precincts now?
Let me start off with allocation of resources. The allocation of resources to the constables traditionally has been none. As one commissioner once said, this was years ago, I won't mention his name, but when we went and asked for simple bulletproof vests, we were called into his office, went in there with the meeting, and I told him, hey guys, we need bulletproof vests. My deputies are out there serving papers. Why in the hell do you need bulletproof vests? You're not the real police anyway. Well, we are the real police. We go out there, and I'll also say this. It's just bleak as far as us, me thinking that we're going to get the resources we need from the Commissioner's Court. That's a very bleak picture. I really think it is. So we're going to have to do with what we have. Unfortunately, we're not the only ones that see these reduction in budget. I mean, our budgets have been cut every year since we've been in office. So the municipalities that we also go out there and protect or back up, their resources are also dwindling. So we're constantly having to go out there and back up the cities. I mean, we got 8 cities in our precinct now. So we're constantly backing up League City, Dickinson, Texas City, Lamar, Santa Fe, Hitchcock, Bayou Vista, Tiki Island, Galveston PD. I mean, so I will tell you this, from my standpoint, whatever that county commissioner's budget, whatever they budget me every year, I'm going to stay within that budget, and I'm going to go out and do the best job we could possibly do with what we're given, period.
Great. Thank
Right,
you.
right now, we are also very short-handed. I only have 2 deputies that work for me, and I'm getting ready to have one that's going to retire at the end of the month after 33 years. So it's all 3 of us who in the office that are doing this. We're all out there serving our papers and doing our business that we're asked to do. We're going to do our very best. I mean, we're going to ask them for the service. We're going to ask them for the equipment. If they don't give it to us, they don't give it to us. They're in control of our budget, and we know it. And they can come here and tell me to paint my office red, and it's going to be red. We're just going to get out there and do our job, because I know that my supporters want us out there to do it, and we're just going to have to do the best we can with what we have. And it is sad, because we are basically at the bottom of the food chain when it comes to law enforcement, and it shouldn't be that way. We work hard just as like anybody else, but with the resources we have, we're going to go out there and do our best. And we're doing it every day. We don't have any papers that stack up. We're out there doing it. I'm out there serving them. And we're doing our very best to do what we can, and we're doing extra on top of it. Neighborhood patrols, vacation watches, we're doing it, but it takes our time, but we're doing what we can, and we're going to continue to do the very best that we can and not fall short.
Well, it's going to be a cookie cutter here, because it's pretty much the same. Our hands are tied with what they give us. We've got to do what we can. When they did the cuts, I was the only one that got cut. 2 deputies. That just left me with 1 deputy. And we were jumping through hoops to get the papers out. So I went back and raised a little cane and got 1 more deputy back, and we're still, certain situations as far as paperwork, evictions especially, it happened to my deputies one time where just by chance we sent 2. And one got jumped on by the girlfriend, the guy who was evicting his girlfriend, and then the daughter jumped on the other deputy, and it was on. So yeah, we do make arrests, you know. So that's part of that, and it's officer safety is what it is. We'll do what we got to do. A lot of times when Judge Cox comes looking for me, I'm not in the office. I'm not serving papers. I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. People say when I took office, why don't you wear a suit and a tie? I said, well, one thing, I can't match colors for to save my soul. The other thing is when you're wearing a uniform, you step out of the vehicle, at least they know that you're some type of law enforcement and you're here to do something. And so there's no mistake in there, but I will do what we have to do. If it means splitting shifts from 1 to 9, 8 to 5 to 1 to 9, something to that effect to get the job done, we will do it with what we got. Thank you.
Thank you.
As far as Precinct 4, I think they were one of the ones that weren't affected by the budget cuts. They are fully staffed. They have quite a bit more deputies than these guys. As far as the allocation of resources, like anything else, you have a budget. Like Constable Fullen says, you got to stick within that budget. You balance what you have, what you spend, and then you just try to get the job done. There are things that you got to do that you can do, especially now that they have marked units that above and beyond. And again, do more for less. I'm a proponent of bringing reserves in. Again, that's free help that could be working on the weekends when making neighborhood patrols, but also during the daytime. The constable's office, in my view, is not there to replace the first responders. That's being like Lake City, Dickinson, Friendswood. They're there to back up. They're there to help out. Sometimes they will be the first responder because they're the first person on the scene, but they're there to help the workload. Speaking of Lake City, I mean, we are at 100,000, its population. Lake City is trying to grow their PD. They've grown quite a bit. But again, you can't replace everybody overnight, so you got to help out. And again, I'm a big proponent for being a team player and work with all the law enforcement agencies to make the community safer. Thank you.
Obviously, what we've heard about is when you address situations in your community, you see firsthand some folks who are having the worst day, maybe more often than some law enforcement officers across the area. But that also gives you a firsthand knowledge of needs that are in your community that may be beyond what you do as part of your profession in law enforcement. What activities have you taken on or plan to take on to address some of those needs that may come up in your community to make it not only safer for officers, but better for your precinct overall? And that's the whole precinct, not just the current makeup.
Okay. I've been doing it ever since I've been in law enforcement. I've been involved in community activities. Ever since taking office in January of 2009, and I certainly don't want to bore y'all. It's actually on my push card. However, I'm involved. I'm a board member on 2 of the Chamber of Commerces in our precinct. I am a member in good standing with all Chamber of Commerce in our precinct. I am the new president of the Hitchcock Chamber of Commerce as of January 1st of this year. I am vice president of development for the Santa Fe, Texas Education Foundation and the Hitchcock Education Foundation. And the reason I'm involved in these things is because it's a better quality of life issue is what it is. you know, if you're out here and you're part of the chamber and you're bringing in commerce, you're bringing in businesses, you're bringing in jobs, you're bringing in families. Those families have to attend a school. So why not be on the Education Foundation where you can make a difference in how things are done in the education system? And all of that combined reduces crime in your neighborhood, because if you got jobs, if you got good schools, and you got good conservative values and families, crime automatically goes down. I mean, that's a prime example. Look at some of our communities in our precinct. I mean, you know, Tiki Island, Bayou Vista, Hitchcock, Santa Fe, yeah, even Galveston's crime rate is going down. I mean, and the reason that is our quality of education is going up, our job market's going up. We got a lot of jobs, got a lot of economic development coming up in Hitchcock. We just got approved for the foreign trade zone. You know, to me that's a great thing. We worked tirelessly on that for about 6 months. We finally got it, and we got a new business coming in next week. We're doing the grand opening. We have a 10-acre, I guess you call it a laydown yard. And we got about a 50,000 square foot building that they're taking over. That's going to be a big boom for the Hitchcock, city of Hitchcock. So anyway, with that being said, I'm very involved outside the constable's office. I'm very involved in all these organizations. I'm also, just want to let you know, I'm very involved in our church, St. Patrick's Church and Our Lady of Lourdes, and also in the Knights of Columbus Council, 10393 in Hitchcock. Anyway, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Constable Fullen.
I'm a member of the Lighthouse Charity Cook Team here in Galveston, Chamber of Commerce, Hitchcock, Santa Fe, and Galveston, Rotary, Elks, and some of these other clubs here, FOP, Fraternal Order Police. One thing I like doing is that to stay involved in the community is when I'm a member of these organizations, I get to hear what other people need, and when we hear these stories of these folks who are needing help, and we love to be able to do that. And the one thing I love are the kids. You've got to get to your young kids early in life, and if you do catch them and you can win them over, they're probably yours forever. We did a program last year over at Trinity School, right behind Trinity. We shut down the street. We had HPD and Harris County fly in with 2 of their helicopters. We had like 22 different agencies, the FBI, the Secret Service, Custom. We invited a bunch of the schools. We had like 900 kids in 2.5 hours go through these little shows that these officers put out for these kids. And the stories these kids got to hear were fabulous, and we really felt like we touched these kids, and that's what we want to do, because they are our future of tomorrow if we get out there and work with them. And it's just not the kids, it's the other people in the community that need our help. Our office, we find out some people who need something. Our office it's not beyond us to go out and give money out of our pocket to help them out, and we love doing that. I mean, I'm very blessed. I've had a good life, you know, and I don't mind giving back to my community. It just makes my job that much more precious, and I enjoy it.
Thank you, Constable Brown.
In my entire law enforcement career, it's a part of my duties I undertook was volunteerism. I volunteer pretty much my entire career, not because somebody asked me, it's because I wanted to. My children have grown up doing the same thing. When I was at the Galveston Police Department, I actually picked up the Blue Santa program that went dormant, and for 15 years I took care of the underprivileged families here in Galveston. As a lieutenant or as a sergeant with the police department, I also took on the Explorer post, which is part of the Boy Scouts of America. And I mentored kids, high school kids, for many years. Although many did not become police officers, I kept them out of trouble. I was blessed, 12 of them became police officers, and half of them served in Galveston PD. Many things, like I said, just being part in law enforcement, volunteering, people see the other side of you. You know, we're not the bad guys, we are the good guys, and people don't see that good side of law enforcement. Being volunteer in organizations like the Lions Club, I'm a member of the Lions Club. I serve meals the first Sunday of every month to the seniors, and it's pretty neat to sit down and talk with these guys. Judge Slaughter is also a volunteer. She comes out as well on the first Sunday of their month in Lake City. People want to see the better side of us, and like I said, we can make a difference. Working in the schools in Lake City, I'm a sheriff's deputy, Galveston County Sheriff's Department. Thank you, Sheriff Trossett. I work in the schools, and it's awesome. And we do see some of the bad sides of kids having problems. And I like to mentor kids and work with them and try to keep them on the right track. As law enforcement, we can do that. As constable, I would continue doing that, working with families in my precinct and trying to make bad things good. Because I mean, we do have we have ways of doing it. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, DJ.
Back in the day when Tech City had the DARE program, we worked hand in hand with them, and that helped out a lot, to meet the kids and get around with them and talk to them in public while they were in school. And then when they went away, that their program ended, well, we couldn't afford it, so to speak. So Tech City ISD has a Boys and Girls Club now down at Heights, which is right down the road from our office. And we pop in there and visit with the kids and talk to them, be seen. There's also a new skate park in Tech City. Just try to get out there and walk around and talk to the kids. At first, it was pretty bad. There was a bunch of drugs going on there. But now they know that the constables or law enforcement will stop in there and talk to them. It's not so much a problem anymore. So we just try to be seen. And in my church, I'll try to help with the youth there. Just not so much being a threat. It just seems to me that when they see me, they're not threatened. When they see a law enforcement, as far as a city officer, they lock up and they won't talk to you. But I'll try not to be as threatening as them. I want to talk to them. I want to sit down and talk to them right next to them. And they just feel more comfortable and they'll open up to you. And a lot of times the parents call you and say, can you come over to the house and talk to so-and-so? He don't want to go to school this morning. Well, it's not a problem. I'll be there in a minute. So I definitely get involved with the kids.
Thank you, Constable Montez. Give us, in 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes, hopefully, your best catch a bad guy story for everyone to know how you approach it. We thought we'd throw a little fun in here for that. So let's go ahead and go with you first, Jimmy.
Catch a bad guy story. Am I allowed to mention names?
Hey, if they're in jail, it's public record anyway.
Okay, I have several good catch bad guy stories. When I was patrolman in the city of Texas City, I used to work what they call District 2, which is the southeast part of Texas City, which nobody else wanted, which I asked for each and every night that I went to work. I was there for 4 years and I worked midnights every night, or worked at East End District. What I used to do is get out of my car, park my car, and go walking around for a couple hours. 2 things. Stay awake, first of all. Number 2 is to catch burglars. Because you're not doing any good if you're just driving around neighborhoods with your window up listening to the radio. Get out and walk around, and you hear a lot of things and you do a lot of things. Back on 6, over there on 6, if y'all are familiar with 6th Street in part of Texas City, that's an older part of town, just on the other side of the Post newspaper, there was an old abandoned building. Guy never could get into it. He kept trying and trying. Every time I'd go by there, I'd see the pry marks on the door and stuff. He finally decided to go through the roof. Well, they had an old cook bin up there. And old boy tried to slither his way down. Well, unfortunately, his shoulders were just a little too wide and he was stuck. And when I started listening to the screams and everything else, we finally got the fire department out there with a ladder truck, got on top, and all I saw was feet just slipping and flying. So anyway, arrested him. One of my second stories was when I was the police chief at the Galveston School District. Some of y'all may have known back in the mid-90s, our gang problem in Galveston was pretty bad. And we used to have a lot of shootings in and around the campus. 39th and Avenue M over the A&M food store. Young man, in fact, I think he ran for Congress, or he tried to run for Congress about 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, absolutely. Yes, and it's public record. But he was involved in a shooting over at A&M food store. One of our students chased him for nearly 7 blocks and finally caught him, put him in jail. I think he ultimately went to the penitentiary but got out and then decided to run for Congress about 5 years ago. Anyway.
Right now.
Huh?
He's in my court right now.
Oh, great. There you go. But anyway, those are my 2 stories. Like I say, I've got numerous arrests, actually hundreds of arrests, but those are my one that I remember the most.
All right, thank you, Constable.
Catch a bad guy and a fall down on one. When I was working with the Sheriff's Department over at Beach, on Bolivar Peninsula one year, I think it was with Captain Darrell Isaac. We had a gentleman we caught out there drinking alcohol, and we were writing the ticket. All of a sudden, he just grabbed that ticket, he grabbed that beer, and just took off running, head to the water. And he thought he was going to be slick, and he goes out there and he's running, and we just follow him all the way down the beach. And he's in that water thing, he's going to swim off. I guess about 45 minutes, everybody wanted to go get him. So, he's going to come in, he's going to come in. When he comes in, he realizes he's lost his bathing suit the whole time. He didn't realize. He comes in, he says, I can't take it anymore, I can't take it. He puts his hand, we're just, you have to start laughing because what are these guys thinking? You're not going to outrun us, you're in the water, we got spotlights on you. And he comes out of that water, he says, I give up, and he falls flat on his knees and quits. And it makes you laugh because there's a little sense of humor in doing this job. But another time I was coming back, after working for the Sheriff's Department, I was coming back from the Bolivar side. I was actually working for the Constable's office there. They had put out a call on a lady who grabbed her kid over here at Cherry Hill, the very end of the seawall, and she took off running from her boyfriend and grabbed this little infant, I guess maybe 10, 12 weeks old. She was pretty intoxicated. She ran off into that big vacant marshland over there. And we searched and we searched and we couldn't find her anywhere. Finally, we called DPS and they came in with a flare and was looking for him, for the child, because we know we got some coyotes out there. So I'm on the edge of that area out there and I'm walking around, I've got flashlights, and I couldn't find this person. We were all out in the field looking. Next thing I know, I fall right on top of her. I fall, not on her, I fall into the mud, and I'm coming out all muddy in my radio and all this stuff. And it was pretty embarrassing, but we got her and probably saved that child, because one of those coyotes would probably go snatch that child out from that lady. But that was one of the good things, and the gentleman over there in Bolivar. But this business, you run across some pretty interesting things.
Okay, it seems to be, Bolivar seems to be the hot spot. That's when Henry was a lieutenant back then, that's how long ago this was. I started the first Mountain Patrol office, or Mountain Patrol unit with the Constable's office, and they asked us to come out and work Mountain Patrol. And if you know anything about that, on the beach it gets narrow, and the only ones you can usually, if you're on foot or horseback, you just zigzag through the traffic and go around. Has anybody seen at the rodeos, the cutting horses, how they work? The guys on there just holding on, and the horse is doing all the work. Okay. Let me put that there. Let me steal that. Well, my horse, we're sitting there and we caught this guy drinking a bottle of beer on the beach, and all he had on was just a pair of shorts. I said, "Hey, come here, partner." And he says, "What's the matter?" I said, "You got a bottle, a beer bottle in there." And now I've already been called out on the carpet by Judge Lowry once, so I'm not going to have this. Not going to happen again. So I said, "I'm gonna write you a ticket for that." And so he's being real smart. I said, "Where's your ID?" Because I don't have it. And I said, "Okay, what's your name?" He starts giving me a name. He said, "What if I don't sign it?" I'll just take you to jail. And about that time, he took off. And now, this horse that I've had, I bought him when he was 12, he died when he was 29. And we went to all kinds of mountain patrol school, and just the same thing, but with humans, as a cutting horse in the cattle business. That guy took off, and so did my horse. Well, I wasn't ready, and I almost came off, so I figured if we're gonna catch this guy, I better hold on. So he starts zigzagging through the traffic. Now, where this guy, these people think they can outrun a four-legged animal. That's happened more than once. And he starts going through the traffic, and the horse is there, and I'm just holding on. I'm thinking, oh, this looks great. He cuts to the dunes, he starts going up the dunes thinking the horse wasn't going to follow. So he gets almost to the top, he turns around and stops. And he looks back, and my horse hits him, boom, right in the chest. And he rolls over backwards over the dunes, he stands up, it looks like a powdered donut, and I said, "Now you're going to go to jail tired and dirty."
Mine, back in the day in the Galveston Police Department, they used to employ warrant officers that would serve municipal court warrants. And you would always go down there and look for people that had warrants. And there was always our upstanding citizens that would always get tickets, multiple tickets in high crime areas where drug trafficking was going on. And then it would basically, we would start looking for them. Well, this one gentleman had about $17,000 worth of outstanding fines, which was about probably about 100 warrants at $15 a pop. So he had a bounty. And so I was off duty. I was coming out of the old police station, and I saw everybody was looking for him, and he knew that. And I saw him coming down the street. I said, "What are the odds?" So I said, "Come here." And he goes, "No." I said, "Come here. You're under arrest." "No." He ran to the back of the station, started banging on the door, "Let me in, let me in." Because he thought if he turned himself in, I couldn't collect the warrants. Needless to say, thank goodness the jailer was slow to get up, because he was still banging on the door when I went up and handcuffed him. And not only did I serve the warrants, but I also charged him for evading arrest. That's my story.
Again, I'd like to say thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. And like I said, this redistricting is not our fault. We didn't ask for it, but we're going to do our very best no matter what. And we're both fine gentlemen. We're very good friends. And it's sad that we have to do this, but we both want to work hard for you. I want to work for you. I love what I do. I enjoy this job, and it's not about me. It's about you. I'm merely the key holder of that office, and you can take it away from me anytime. We're going to get out there and do what we can and continue to serve you and make you proud that you've got us in office. And I'm asking for your support for Constable for Precinct 2 in the upcoming election, February 16th to the 26th and March 1st, the primary. I appreciate your support, and thank you.
I echo what Constable Brown said. Thank you very much for having us here tonight. Again, 27 years law enforcement experience. To illustrate how well I work with the local entities around here, I have 5 of the 6 police association endorsements thus far. I have 9 of the 13 police chiefs in our precinct endorsing me already, publicly. I have 4 of the mayors of this precinct who have come out and endorsed me. I have 1 county commissioner who has endorsed me, a tax assessor collector who has endorsed me, and many, many more. My name is Jimmy Fullen. I'm clearly the most experienced candidate in this race, and I would appreciate your support in the upcoming March 1st Republican primary. Thank you.
Again, my name is DJ Alvarez. I'm 27 year, going on 28-year veteran. I feel that I have the most experience as far as training and background in law enforcement, not only to do the job of the constable, but also to implement new programs aimed at helping law enforcement and building partnerships with our citizens and our businesses, all in to help reduce crime. We're team players. We all need to be a part of the team. And again, I want the choice I want the opportunity to serve you guys. Again, my name is DJ Alvarez. Thank you, GRW. I'm honored to be here again to speak for you guys. You guys rock. Thank you.
My name is Michael Montez again. Thank you for letting us come here tonight and speak to you, and thank you for staying, because some of y'all have some people left. But I have 23 years, going on 23 years experience, and I feel that I'm the best qualified for this position. I can't say I've seen it all, because everyone's never the same. Every case is never the same. But I do enjoy working. I'm married to my job. I took this job because I love it. It's not for the pay. You can ask anybody here. It's not for the pay. So I love helping people, and I hope to continue doing so. And again, thank you for your time.